Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Don't Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to talk about Stefon Diggs getting traded from the Buffalo Bills over to the Houston Texans. Now, most of you, by the time you're seeing this, you probably already heard the news, you've seen the trade, you've seen the details. But what I want to do is I kind of wanted to cover the details and then go on forward by talking about the Houston Texans and what this team could possibly be. We're also going to talk about the Buffalo Bills, what they could be because they've now lost Stefon Diggs and a couple other receivers. So what are both teams going to look like? So like I said, we're briefly going to talk about Buffalo Bills and see kind of where they're going to go from here. And then we're going to talk about the Houston Texans and why I feel like this might be a hot take. They could be the best team in the AFC next year. So without further ado, if you're going to enjoy it, as always, make sure you drop a like onto the video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. But without further ado, let's get into it. All right, let's go over the trade compensation of what exactly was traded. It says here the Bills, they got a 2025 second round pick which was actually Minnesota's draft pick for Stefon Diggs. And what did Houston get? They got Stefon Diggs, but they also got some other things added in. They got a 2024 sixth round pick, which is 189th overall, a 2025 fifth round selection, and which pretty much you're going to be asking, why is Houston getting more than what Buffalo's getting? Let me explain. As you can see here, the Texans, they agreed to wipe out the final 3 seasons on Stefon Diggs' deal. Stefon Diggs had a couple years extra on his contract, and the Houston Texans basically just agreed to wipe out that entire deal. It says here the Texans also took $3.5 million guaranteed to Diggs next season and moved it up into this season, giving him a raise and assuring him of almost $22.52 million in guaranteed money in 2024. Basically, the way the trade works was Buffalo basically said, since you guys are going to pay off his contract and you guys are going to be eating a lot of money, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a lot of draft compensation, and then if you just want to take them off our hands, go for it. Now, one of the things that's kind of a big talking point that everybody's discussing is, why exactly did this trade happen? For those of you who do not keep up with the Buffalo Bills, or maybe you're a Buffalo Bills fan or not a Buffalo Bills fan, I've kind of kept track of what Buffalo Bills fans have been saying, and they have all kind of said the same thing. Stefon Diggs, in a way, is a crybaby. The way Stefon Diggs works is if he's getting the ball and you're winning games, you are perfectly cool. If you're winning games but he's not getting the ball, he's gonna be a little upset. If he's getting the ball but not winning games, like I said, still gonna be a little upset. If both are not happening, you're not winning games and he's not getting the ball, he's gonna want the fuck out of town. And clearly, from the way Buffalo has just constantly been losing in the playoffs, he wants out of town. I think when he got to Buffalo, he trusted Josh Allen. He saw how close they got with the AFC title game, got back to the divisional round. They were always right there, and he saw that they were capable of doing it. But I think here after the past couple of years, he realized, okay, yeah, we ain't going anywhere. Now, Stefon Diggs did put out this little message where he was basically thanking the entire city of Buffalo and the entire franchise organization, thanking them for his time there. And it's not like he's just leaving and saying, fuck y'all, I'm out of here. He probably enjoyed some people within the organization. He enjoyed the fans. It was just time for him to basically come out and say, I'm not going to win anything here. Now, when it comes to Buffalo, they're in a big kind of world of hurt. They're releasing a couple players. They released half their defense. They're trying to compensate for some players to be able to pay some guys. I don't know really where they're going to go from here. I'll talk about that in a different video, a different time. But I think Buffalo is in a world of hurt right now. Now, let's talk about the Houston Texans and why I think they could possibly be the best team in the AFC. Now, you might be saying, well, Dylan, didn't the Kansas City Chiefs just win the AFC last year? Wasn't it them and Baltimore? They didn't go anywhere. And I realize that Baltimore didn't go anywhere. But Baltimore, every single year, we say they're going to be the best team ever. When they stayed healthy, like we saw last year, they got to the AFC title game. But then they came up short. What's going to happen next year? They're going to be able to stay 100% healthy the entire way through the season. I wish injuries on nobody, but I'm just saying, Baltimore Ravens have been very heavy on the injury basis whenever it comes to any player getting hurt, whether it be a quarterback, running back, receiver, defense. Somebody's always getting hurt in the season. Now let's go through the Houston Texans roster. As we know, C.J. Stroud, baller, kind of like Josh Allen, both big time ballers. Josh Allen was young whenever Stefon Diggs got there. Now he's got C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud is flinging that ball all over the place, especially as a rookie. Now imagine a sophomore season with a true number one. Now he's going to have not only just Stefon Diggs, he's still got the other guys from last season. He's still got Nico Collins. He's still got Tank Dell. Dalton Schultz is a great number one or tight end, receiving tight end. Noah Brown is a stud as a number 3-4 receiver. Robert Woods, he's got a lot of pieces. And hell, you even go to the back end of the receiving core. Brevin Jordan at the tight end position. Devin Singletary was good last season. Now they're going to replace him with Joe Mixon. You still got John Mechie. So when you look at the offense, the offense should still be, I would say, at least top 5. You're going to have good running with Joe Mixon now there, with C.J. Stroud, and now all 3 of you guys, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stefon Diggs, and Dalton Schultz. If we can get a good receiving core moving out there with all you boys, I think the Houston Texans could be lethal on offense. Now, when it comes to the defense, here's what I'm going to say about the defense. We saw last season, at the very beginning of the year, nobody thought this team was going to be good. Nobody. I predicted them to go like 4-13, 3-14. I thought maybe 5-12. CJ Stroud, rookie quarterback, rookie head coach, all bunch of rookies all over the place. But this team transformed themselves into a juggernaut, basically. They were like an underrated sleeping juggernaut, if that makes sense. And with D'Amico Ryans calling the plays on defense and being like a leader of that defensive side of the ball, the guys trusting him, you look at the way the defense played. They played good. Now, I will point out they did lose a lot of defensive players last season. Grenard, he went up to Minnesota, but then they did replace him with Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter went off last season. I think he had like 13 or 14 sacks, so look at the sack number. You're going to get basically the same production. You still got Will Anderson, so you're going to have that like side-by-side edge rush combo going on the defensive line. Derek Stingley was a stud last season for you guys, so you're still going to have, and you still got Steven Nelson. You got a bunch of good corners on your team and safeties. Your secondary, I think, will still be good. Some people said they're going to be weaker this season. We'll kind of see how that goes. I think if anything that's going to be holding the Texans back next season, kicking. I mean, look at the kicking. They probably want to improve on that. And when I look at the future opponents the Texans are going to be playing next season, what exactly is holding them back? When you look at the home games for the Texans, they're going to be, obviously they have their division teams. Let's say they split every single game, or better yet, yeah, let's say they split the Colts, they split the Jaguars, and they split the Titans. Right now, you're already 3-3. Now let's go for both road and home. Now let's go through the rest of the games. You're going to have the Bills coming into town. That'll be a good game. Bills, Stefon Diggs, maybe like a revenge game. Let's say you win that game. I think you can possibly win that game with CJ Stroud. Let's say the Dolphins. You're hosting that game. Let's say you can beat the Dolphins. You're 5-3 right now. You want to be the top of the AFC? The Ravens coming into town? I think you can beat the Ravens. The Ravens embarrassed you 2 times last season at their place in their regular season and the playoffs. It's your time to get revenge. I think you can do it. And you're going to have the Lions coming into town. Let's say between the Ravens or the Lions, one of those two you lose. So let's say right now you're already up to like 7-4. 6-4, my bad. But then let's move on. And then you got the Bears, and then you're going to probably win that game. So let's say 7-4 you are right now. Then you have your road games. You're going to have the Colts you have to go to. Like I said, Colts, Jaguars, Titans, you already split them. So right now you're still like about 7-4. Next up, you got the Chiefs. If you beat the Chiefs, this will solidify my statement. If you lose to them, then we're in a little bit of trouble. So let's say with the Patriots, they're going to be still in the rebuild mode. So right now, let's say 8-4 Jets. Maybe you can win that game. 9-4. Then you got like the Packers, Vikings, and Cowboys. Realistically, looking at the schedule, if I really do think this team could possibly go like 12-5. If you are as good as I think you can be, 12-5. Looking at the schedule, maybe you go like 10-7 again. Maybe you go 11-6. Maybe I could be eating my own words and maybe you go like 9-8. This is going to be a tough schedule for the Houston Texans, but I really do think you look at the schedule. Like I said, maybe they don't split the teams between their division. Maybe they just flat out go like 4-2, 5-1, and actually roll the division. But their non-division schedule, that's I think where it's going to get a little bit beefy. Like I said, going to the Chiefs, going to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers coming back, how are they going to look? The Packers, are they going to be able to bounce back after last season's playoff run? The Vikings, what are they going to be this season? The Cowboys obviously always play. The Cowboys are always good at home. And then you got the Bills and Dolphins. They were good last season. And if you're going to be playing them in your stadium, indoor stadium, Ravens, top of the AFC last season, it's going to be an interesting season to see how the Houston Texans do this year. But ultimately, to kind of wrap it up, here's my final points. Like I said, with the Houston Texans, they can be very dangerous this season. They can be very, very good. You see Stroud coming off last season. If he can play just as good as he did last season, this team's going to be an electric offense. You have the receivers now, obviously, with Stefon Diggs. You got the tight end. You got the running back, Joe Mixon, coming in there. The defense should be able to get even better after last season's the way they look. The schedule is going to be the one that's going to trickle me a little bit. We're going to see how they look this season. I think realistically, the way after how last season looked, that's Kansas City Chiefs. They won the Super Bowl. Are the Chiefs going to say, hey, for our first game, let's schedule the Houston Texans as our first game? Because we saw last season, Detroit Lions got scheduled with the Chiefs for the first game of the season. Lions beat them though. Are the Chiefs going to want to take that challenge of going up against like the Texans or somebody, a very good team? Or are they going to want to take a bad team off their schedule for that first week of the season? And if the Kansas City Chiefs decide to say, hey, give us the Texans. If the Texans go out there and beat the Chiefs first game of the season, that will solidify my opinion that this Houston Texans team can be the best team in the AFC. And I'm not just saying that just to say something. I'm saying because I believe it. And damn it, I'm a Browns fan. I got my ass kicked by the Texans last year in the playoffs. And I still think the Texans can be the best team in the AFC this season. But without further ado, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy today's video. If you did enjoy, as always, make sure you drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. If you wanted to watch the entirety of today's video, thank you very much. And like I said, if you have a different opinion, do you think the Texans are going to be the best team? Not going to be the best team? Do you think the Stefon Diggs trade was a good move by the Texans? Bad move by the Texans? Good move or bad move for the Bills? Whatever it may be. If you're a fan of either of these teams and what's your opinion on the trade, like I said, leave your complete opinion on how everything went down in the comment section down below. Be more than welcome to talk about with you guys. If you're a fan of the content that I do post here and you want to go and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. And do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified second to post. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.